Hi, so Vanessa Callaghan here, lead coach, and so excited to be here with our Raising Resilience parents, and also saying hello to folks who are watching on the business page. Hello, Vanessa here. So we are getting together because I've been hearing from my parent clients that they don't know what to do when the kids are bored or when we're bored at home right now. And that's not to diminish the incredible amount of attention that we're needing to pay to the news cycle, to protecting our aging relatives, to managing, just all the aspects of this. But today we're here to focus on what to do with yourself and with the kids when they're bored. And also how to shift our mindset, since this is a Monday mindset talk, from seeing the things that are going on and sort of getting into a loop around, like, this is a crisis, this is something that's bad, this is something that we're not going to be able to benefit from in any way. And it's easy to do, right? I mean, I understand, like, we are in a time here where things are shifting hard, like by the hour, by the day, by the hour. Sometimes it feels like by the minute. And it's a lot to keep up with. I made some suggestions last week about some things that we can all do to sort of manage that stress. So go ahead and check out that video. I also gave a few tips on like some basic homeschooling ideas, just some tips about, like, for example, making sure that you still have a morning routine and trying to get the learning time out of the way before noon and for no longer than an hour and a half at a time. Making sure to take breaks between those, like 90 minutes, is really key. It's been shown to be really helpful for all of us. If we want to be able to focus and be able to get something done, to be able to spend just either from 20 to 90 minutes on one task at a time. So here's some hot tips coming at you. Say hello if you would. Let me know you're listening in the comments so I can see that you're with me right now. It's always so helpful. Just say hi, like where you're listening from, how many kids you've got at home would be really helpful. So we can start to see, like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I also have two at home, and even the ages would be great. So it'd be like, Sally from Michigan with a 3 and a 5-year-old. And tell me one thing that you're already doing that's really helping with kind of stave off and tolerate these extended periods of time where there's less of regular life going on, and we can find ourselves getting kind of bored, and the kids can get bored. And then what the goal here is for children to be able to settle into independent activities, because a lot of us are needing to either manage the home as a full-time job, or we're managing the home and we're working from home right now. And it's going to be impossible for us to make it through these next few weeks if we don't have the opportunity to have chunks of time where we're actually able to focus on other things besides the kids. And we also want the kids to have that experience, right? Like, where they're able to settle into something besides screen time, although I'm not saying put the screens away, because, we need to do what we need to do right now. But what are some alternatives to screen time that kids could be using to really settle in and feel less bored and feel more engaged in something that really gets their attention and maybe even helps them to grow a skill, or to just generally feel, relaxed and calm, to get along with their sibling. So if that's tell us in the comments if you're watching the replay, and you're watching live, go ahead and tell us one thing that you're doing right now that is really helping the kids with their boredom besides screen time. Well, there's some fun screen time options coming through. I also want to give a shout out to Sarah Ivy. She created this really great group called Pandemic Playtime Activities for Kids, and I've posted it in our group so that folks can find it, and invited a bunch of my clients to join and check out those activities in there. Lots of alternatives, right, to being bored. So some actual activities. But I'd like to hear something that you're doing right now that's really working for you. Okay, so again, put it in the comments. Let me know what it is. And when you do that, it gives us an opportunity to say, like, okay, great, there are real people who are in this with me, and trying to figure this out too. It just can be really helpful. So please go ahead and do that. Now, my three hot tips for boredom and for just generally getting through this time with the kids stuck, feeling possibly claustrophobic, feeling possibly like, you're kind of trapped in a small space and not being able to really get some space to breathe and do your own thing. Other things that you all are feeling, let me know in the comments, like, what's the hardest thing about this right now? Share in the comments, like, it's really hard for me that, I don't feel like I feel like I have to do this whole routine of before I can leave to go to the grocery store. And then when I return, it's like, I miss that feeling of ease of being able to just walk out the door, grab my grocery bags and get my groceries and come home and not think twice about it. Maybe that's really hard for you right now. Maybe it's really hard for you that the siblings are, fighting nonstop. And it's like, how do I possibly break up these conflicts in a way that doesn't just kind of like defer it till later? So like, then it just happens again, right? As soon as they're in the same room again, they're fighting again. Little one is grabbing a toy from the big one. Big one is like, forgetting to use their words and shoving them away. I mean, a lot of things happening right now. So tell me what you're struggling with. Let me know in the comments. And even if it's the replay, please tell me so I know, so that I can support you. Okay. And we can support each other. So put it in the comments. So 2 things I'd love to hear. What's one thing you're already doing that's really helping stave off boredom besides screen time? And 2, what is the hardest thing right now, especially around parenting and having the littles at home? Okay, let me know. What are those 2 things in the comments? All right. So my tips for boredom. So the first thing is, again, we're trying to create opportunities for the kids to settle into activities where they're able to work on them independently, and we're not necessarily having to monitor them, and they're not necessarily coming over and interrupting us over and over and over again when we're trying to get done something for the household or maybe working from home. Yeah, sound like a good goal? If you want that, just put yes, please. I want that. Yes, yes, in the comments, or give me a thumbs up or a heart or something. Let me know that that's something you'd like. I think of it as like home co-working. Yeah. And you can imagine, I have a lot of experience with this. I've been in a classroom, in a Montessori classroom, where all the kids are doing different jobs, different works, different activities side by side. And it's so much like co-working. And then sometimes I would also need to be doing my own work in the same room with 36 kids, 24 kids, 12 kids, right? So I have a lot of ideas around how to make that happen in a way that is really harmonious and successful. Okay, so the first thing is, make a really great list of things that you already observe your child getting really engrossed in, okay? Things that, like, when they sit down with it, they lose a sense of time and space. Think of the things that are so hard to pull your kids away from when it's time to go, when it's time for dinner, when it's time for bath. And they're just like, they're in their own world. They ignore you, right? Or they push back or pretend they don't hear you, right? Think of those activities first and make a list right now. And you can do it in the comments with us right here. It would be great. So like, for example, it could be something like, read a book from the series they love, could be one of them, right? Lego, a new Lego kit. It could be something like, mixing paints. So just go ahead and write down some things right now. Let us know what they are, things that the kids are already really engrossed in, and that you have a hard time pulling their attention away from. That's a hot clue, like a really hot clue of, folks that, activities that they will sit with for a long time on their own. Like, you don't have to necessarily make a project and, create a whole lesson plan for it and get a whole bunch of new supplies for it. It's just something they're already naturally, like, really, really interested in on their own. Okay. So go ahead and write this in the comments, or in the replay, go ahead and write it down. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Now, the second thing I want you to do is think about, what do you have in your household that maybe you could dust off, right? Something you could pull off the shelf, something that hasn't been touched in a while, like a board game, like a set of cards, like, something that, like, maybe is at the bottom of the toy bin, right? It hasn't been seen for a while. Novelty it can be really helpful here. So you're going to find something that you can, like, refresh and bring back into the mix. And my hot tip about how to make it exciting again is model your own interest, like, show interest in it. And be like, oh, I can't believe I found the dominoes. Man, I've missed these. It's like, it'd be one comment like that. Kids are like, what? what's that thing that you're so excited about, mom, dad, and then the second part of that is do it once with them to help them remember how much fun it can be or how interesting it can be, right? So you're dusting something off that you haven't touched in a while. You're reinvigorating the interest in it by just spending, I mean, it can be 2 to 5 minutes, just being like, wow, how does this work? How does this go? What are the rules again? I mean, we're talking from toddlers to 12-year-olds, right? It can be all kinds of different things, anything from, like a construction set to like a really interesting like book full of like mind-boggling puzzles, right? So dust something off you already have. Notice I've had you spend 0 money so far, right? These are things that you already have around your house. And add those to the list as you pull them out, and have the list somewhere at eye level where the kids can go up and they can like look at it. And so here's my hot tip about that. You're going to send them to that list when they say, I don't know what to do right now. I'm bored. Mommy, come do this. Come here. And you're going to like, sweetheart, remember that list we have that has all those things we can do when we're bored? Yeah, let's go check that out right now. Someone's telling me that the streaming is not going so well, so we're going to see if we can shift to a stronger Wi-Fi here. Okay. So you have this list you're building, right? Sound good? Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is really giving the kids like a lesson. And don't get mad at me for this, okay? I'm not trying to turn you into a full-time teacher here. That's impossible to do overnight. If you want to do that, let's talk. Because I've got some ideas on like I can go deeper on this with you. But your hot tip for this moment is get really good at like kind of framing certain chunks of time as co-working time. And you can call it co-working, or you can call it independent work time. You can call it independent activity time. You can say it's, like self-directed time, whatever works for you. Come up with something funny with your friends, with your kids, with your friends too, with another care provider. It could be something like, hey, I know there's a certain, there might be a little pause in the sound. And I think we're back. Hey, I heard there's these animals that don't really interact much. They kind of do their own thing, like tortoises. Let's have tortoise time, and make it tortoise time at least twice a day. Okay, tortoise time. And these are going to be those golden times. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to catch up on dishes. Oh my gosh, I got to run that errand, because only one adult was required for this time. Oh my gosh, I was able to get through my inbox and answer those emails. I feel a little less panicked about being behind in work, right? So you're going to want to get really good at framing this time really well so the kids understand that there are different expectations during that time. Okay. So my quick and dirty for this, okay, is that you're going to want to call it something different and then introduce it to the kids separately from the time it's happening. So they have a preview of what's coming, okay? So you could be setting up a schedule for the day, which I have a whole training on, which I'll give you next week. I have a 3-day challenge coming up. It's exciting. But you refer to your routine and have this chunk of time that's maybe like the tortoise time or like independent work time or co-working time. And you're going to show like, this is when it's happening. And you're going to want to highlight what the difference is between times when you're interruptible and times where there's an actual like routine around how they're going to get your attention and interrupt you, because they're supposed to be settling into their own activity so that you can settle into yours and you're not 100% available, right? There needs to be some kind of buffer between how like them needing something from you and you stopping your activity, right? So let's say you are getting chores done. You're in the kitchen, you're going to go through, like, you're going to do like the deep clean right now. You're going to make sure all the surfaces are wiped and all the dishes are put in the dishwasher. You're going to run the dishwasher and you really want to be able to knock this out and not get pulled away from it, right? Another example could be like you want to get through that inbox and answer your emails and you need like 40 minutes of straight concentration to know that you're going to be the most productive possible. So you're going to want to have a way to get your child on board with the fact that you're not interruptible right now. And And if they do really, really, really need something, it should be a short list of things they need. It could be something like, for younger kids, help with potty. You hurt yourself. Somebody's being really unkind and you can't solve the problem on your own, for the little ones, right? Yeah, could you see that? And you come up with that list of times that they can interrupt you, and you really have them repeat it back to you and even play it through. So you could say, like, I want to go talk to daddy while he's on his computer to show him something. And you're like, whoops, nope, actually, I'm not hurt. I don't need help with potty, and there's no fighting going on. So no, I can't. Whoops, I have to wait. And you can actually like role model what it would be like to like almost go interrupt daddy and then walk back and get back into your activity, like, and say, wow, I guess I need to find something to do. Maybe I'll go to my bored panda list, if whatever you want to call it, right? My bored tortoise list. And you go over and you pick something. Or for younger kids, it could just be a shelf or a space or a rug where you lay out like 3 things at the beginning of your tortoise time or your co-working time, your mom and dad are not available time, and you lay them out like a plan. Like, here are the 3 things you're going to be working on. Is there anything else you want on this rug before I go work on the kitchen, or I go answer those emails, right? And you set them up for success. That's the big tip here. Set them up for success, right? So backing up, for those of you who are just joining me, or for a review, the 3 things, right? Come up with a list of things that the kids are already really interested in and they get really engrossed in, and create that like boredom list, right? What to do when you're bored. The second thing is dust off some things that you haven't touched in a while and show interest in them, and have a little practice round with like really getting into it. And that way they can have more options to add to the list. And the third one is you're going to really want to train the kids on what it means to have this time, this independent time, because it's different than regular family time. Would you agree? Like regular family time, you kind of share the space and you can kind of jam, and like kids walk up to you and interrupt you. Just all kinds of jamming and kind of looseness is happening, and it feels really relaxed and connected. But if you do that all day long, there's going to be a threshold you're going to hit. And tell me in the comments if you've already hit it. Let me know, where you're like, okay, I've done co-play, I've done like work play with time for like 4 hours now. I need to actually get some chores done, or I need to actually get some work done while my child is settled into something. And yes, sure, use screen time if you'd like, and I want to invite you to consider that you can do this, and because there's only so much screen time like the family can handle, right? To really create this sort of like separate activity time that's all about settling into an activity and having their attention there. Okay. So the third tip was, and is, getting them on board with it. And the big piece there, the chunky piece there, was that you want to help them understand when it's okay to come and interrupt you. And you have the short list, right? Of if someone's hurt, if there's if there's some kind of other emergency, right? If there's like a fight going on between siblings and you're thinking that they need help to solve a problem, there's a bathroom issue or something like that, right? Then yes, come on and talk to mommy or talk to daddy. Talk to grandma, talk to auntie, whoever is the care provider, babysitter even. Then you've got to create a little bit of a ritual around how they're going to interrupt you. And the reason why this is huge is because it creates the pause that helps kids to say, oh, should I be interrupting right now or not? Now imagine me in the middle of the classroom with 12, 24, 36 kids. And I'm already engrossed, focused on helping a kid, or maybe a small group, less than 3 or 4 kids, and the other 20 are free range right now or so. We had to come up with a kind of a signal of, hey, can I have your attention right now? And a way for me to answer that, so that they know that, yes, I can give them my attention, or no, they need to wait and go back to find an activity to do, right? And so what we did in our classroom, and what I've encouraged my clients to do in their households, is put their hand on the shoulder, put their hand on the hip, and wait. And wait. It's the wait that's really key. The wait. Yeah. So they put the hand on the shoulder, they wait. And then you can put your hand on theirs and you can show them how many minutes they need, or like, just wait a second. Or you can turn and say, yes, sweetie, is somebody hurt? Is this a potty thing? Or do you need help with the conflict? And if they're like, no, I wanted to show you, it's like, okay, sweetheart, remember, I will absolutely love to see your drawing when we're done with our tortoise time, or when we're done with our co-working time, when we're done with our independent working time. Okay. And it's going to be something new for them. They're going to be like, what? Frustrated, or like kind of mystified or something, and just go with it. Honor their feelings and say like, yeah, sweetheart, I know this is a little different. Remember, but we're practicing this so that we can have some time where we get things done separately. We have some independent time. I know, honey. Do you need a hug? Hug them, send them back in. And the other thing you can do is help them settle back into their activity and say, okay, sweetheart, one time, or you can give them 3 times if they're really little. One time, or you have 3 times left, 2 times left, 1 time left, where they can come and get you to come over and see their thing and help them settle back in. The younger they are, the more times that's going to happen. The older they are, the less, right? So an 8-year-old, maybe once. 2, if they have a lot of they really are used to being engaged with you. 3 max. The littles, could be 10. But at least you're teaching them that there's such a thing as you stay put and they come and then you send them back. And maybe you've done this in other times. Let me know in the comments, like, what's a time that you've done that, right? Like, oh, when I'm making dinner, I have to turn my kids away a lot, right? Let me know in the comments. And you can see with each other. Okay. So to wrap it up, we're going to come up with a list of things that they already are really engrossed in. We're going to dust off some things and revitalize them around the house. And then we're going to frame the time, these times where we have independent activity time. And you can call it something fun, like after an animal, like tortoise time, because tortoises don't play together, right? They do their own thing, whatever it takes in your household, and you're going to build it into the schedule. And then you're going to have what you'll notice, and what I noticed as a teacher when I was really successful with this, and whenever I'm with young kids and this needs to happen, is that I know that as this becomes more and more successful, I know that I'm going to have at least a few blocks of time during the day while the kids are even awake, where I'm going to be able to focus on what I need to focus on. And I'm not going to have that guilt of it being screen time every time. Yeah. And it's okay. I mean, and not to project that you're feeling guilty about lots of screen time, because please, my gosh, we got to do what we can do right now. But just know that there are other ways to do it where you can set your kids up for success. Here's some hot tips straight from all of the years of experience. I've had thousands and thousands of interactions with kids where I'm getting them to settle into their independent work. So hopefully these have been helpful for you. In the comments, let me know a couple things that you got out of this. And I'm going to put up a contest post. And the contest post is going to say something like, and I'll launch it right after this. It's going to say, share your biggest takeaway from the training, and one boredom activity that you think will be one of the most successful for your kids to really settle into. Okay. So one takeaway and a boredom activity. Okay. And the way the contest goes is when you post that, when you put into the comments, you need to go and comment on at least 1, 2, or 3 other parents, and just let them know, like, yeah, same here, or like, that's a great idea, or yeah, good takeaway, and just keep the conversation going, because we need each other right now. We need connection. So go in there and make a comment of some kind, and I'm going to have 3 different prizes. First one is the first person to answer the post automatically wins a gift card, a $10 gift card to Amazon. I'll be messaging you, getting your email, and sending it to you. Okay. So as soon as I see that, I'll be in touch with you. First prize. Another prize is going to be the person who comments the most on other people's comments, or has just the most comments, right? And some of them better be for other people too, not just all your ideas, right? So that's the second way to play. And then the third way to play is I'm going to just do a random draw next Monday at our Monday Mindset and see who it is. And so all 3 of those gets a $10 gift card to Amazon, which many of us, are having to order things online right now. So I'm thinking that could be just helpful. And I encourage you to apply it to whatever you want to apply it to, but maybe something for yourself. Or, a supply that's going to help you with one of your boredom activities. And take a look at the pandemic playtime, activities for kids that Sarah Ivy put together. I posted in the group for some really low cost ideas of things you could just probably get, like a set of watercolor and have that shipped to your house for less than $10, and have a bunch of ideas you could do with the paper towels and the coffee filters and all these different fun ideas. So that's how to play. And thank you for joining me. If you're in the business page listening, you've got to head over to the parent group to play. That's where the post is going to be. The link is in the comments, and I'll see you later. And then this is just for y'all in the parent group. I'm just so impressed with how parents are handling this in general. How much we're coming together as a community. And I love that this is a place that we can do that too, right here in the Raising Our Resilience parent group. So this is a great time to, if you haven't yet, say hello to another parent, introduce yourself, let us know something that you're struggling with that we can help you with. Let us know a win that we can celebrate with you, something that has been going really well. I'm going to put up 2 posts about what's been the hardest and what's your win right now. And I'd like to have that opportunity for all the parents to see that there are other parents doing the same thing at home. And we're going to get through this together. And I'm going to be doing a really interactive training next week. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a 3-dayer with a lot bigger prizes, and also some time for some Q&A where we can actually get on screen together and you can ask questions and I can coach you. So we're going to be gathering up over the next week and a half, your toughest things and most important questions, so that I can support you with it with some coaching. Okay. My gift to you, this is a really intense time. We've got to come together as a community. Thanks for listening. So good to be here with you. And I'll be back next Monday. And then we'll have our 3-day challenge as well, our 3-day kind of masterclass series with the Q&A and watch parties. So next week's going to be a big week for parent learning. This is a time you could drop in and consider it an opportunity, right? For a way that you can up-level your parenting, deepen your relationships with your kids, build your resilience and the resilience of your family together. We'll do it together. All right, well, hope you get to play the contest. Really good to have those of you who are here. I believe Amanda, Lee, and Tamika all popped in, and many of you will be watching the replay. I know there's a lot grabbing your attention right now. This is a place I hope you can make another home here with me and with the other parents, where you can feel loved and supported and taken good care of, okay? All right, my love to you. We got this. I see you, I hear you, I believe in you, and I truly believe that we're going to make it through this stronger and more connected with our kids. And we can do that together. All right. My love to you. Take care.